Welcome back to another Way to Money podcast episode, and I'm your host, Dantes, and today, I just want to let y'all know something. I'm tired of working. My job sucks. I wish I could move on to something that I actually really want to do with my life. And last but not least, I'm not getting paid enough doing the stuff that I'm doing. I'm pretty sure you heard this a lot from almost everybody you came across. I know there's a lot of people who come in defense about this topic, while others tell them to stop complaining. To be honest, it's a part of life being in the workforce and having these feelings come over us, whether we say it out loud or not. What if I told you all you had to do is become more intentional about your future as a whole to get started? Go to your Secretary of State for you to register your business under a LLC, which is a limited liability company, or the other type of corporation, which are a C Corp or a S Corp. And I will also have an episode following this to explain what is the difference between all of these so you can decide on what direction do you need to take your business in. After that, you will go to get your EIN number, which is short for your employee identification number, which is basically like your business social security number. This is how lenders and other people will be able to identify who you are. I get it, people. I understand. Everybody wants to be able to take trips without worrying about bills, mortgages, and coming home amenities. At the same time, it's not that easy to accomplish without actually sacrificing your excitement. And that includes not going out with your friends. Every time they text you, hey, you want to go out? You want to go party? I heard a lot of people say when I asked them this question, I don't believe in cutting my own happiness off just momentarily. Because I don't understand, it's not graining me. If anything, it's just going to make me more sadder. And this is not the proper way to think at all. Especially when your future is in the balance. The type of people who I just described don't see any value sacrificing their finances for the greater gain later on. Honestly, greater chance of being in poverty. The housing market is up. Food prices have skyrocketed. They even cut down on unemployment wages and government benefits. As this very episode is being made now, 32 states are set to cut food stamp benefits starting March the 6th, 2024. And according to the U.S. Department of Agriculture, it would affect 30 million people. And the places who will be feeling the brunt of these cuts are California and Texas. The reason why these two states are sinking out because they have the higher amount of people who are under the SNAP program, with California with 5.1 and Texas with 3.6 million. With these cuts, they are expecting to cut almost $100 approximately off of all benefits. And some people, benefits will soon be non-existent. COVID isn't any excuse anymore, and a lot of jobs have increased their pay and haven't went back down yet. So place yourself in a position to leave that dreadful job. There are people who have thousands of reasons why they don't like their job, and they think the only way to cope with their transgression from work is to find ways to feel their sadness that they feel, which most of the time involve in spending money and fancying themselves without having a budget to do so. To be honest, we as people see things on the internet and we take it at face value without internalizing it, whether it's true or not. I understand and know everybody doesn't want to branch off and own your own company or become an entrepreneur. And some people are okay with having a 9 to 5. But for the ones that are constantly complaining about how hard work is for them, and they get up and go to work every morning just for the thrill of payday. This is their only day they're happy because they just receive where they can unwind from the problems they're working and whatever's going on at home. You let your job be in control of you. And that's what the problem is. You're being counterproductive in the whole cause of why you even started working in the first place. And what do I mean you let your job control you? You feel as though you let your job control how you act, how you treat others, and most importantly, how you operate your finances. You have no control in your own life. But prioritize being on Booking.com looking for the cheapest places to travel to. Stay at home. All those parties and football games you bought those $200 and $300 outfits for, which is pretty much 25 to 50% of most people take home pay. I know how unappealing the workforce is, but you do need to educate yourself on how important your personal finances are, because they can drastically change the flow of your future. Always continue to keep learning, shifting your mindset to become a better person financially if you want to actually build an enterprise or foundation to become a better entrepreneur. It all starts with you wanting to take the initiative to make your life better. You can only go as far as you allow yourself to grow. And entrepreneurship is a daring task. Within itself, it's a lot of responsibility, especially when you start to grow and other people's livelihood are dependent on your company. Just how a lot of people feel like they don't want to work a 9 to 5 for the rest of their life. At the same time, entrepreneurship isn't just for anybody who just want more money. This is the concept that a lot of people have when they feel like as though you own your own business. They feel as though when I do obtain my business or get into the entrepreneurship field, I can retain most of my money and I don't have to worry about taxes and all that stuff getting taken out. That's false. You do. If anything, it's even more taxes getting taken out because, like I said, you have the stuff you have to write off. You have other company costs. You have maintenance fees. You have, if you're facilitating out of a building, you have to pay the utilities in that too. Also to keep it, it's an operating cost. And the people who have these type of mindset going into business, like they can be just so well off at first, they're misleading themselves. Do your research, people, before jumping into a business idea and leaving your job. Chasing your dreams should not put you at a disadvantage within your own life. Financially, you shouldn't just chase something that had no probability of earning you income at all. And most importantly, if you feel like people don't agree with you, you feel like it though they don't love you, they don't support you, or a person doesn't have to agree with you. On top of that, a person doesn't have to see your goals as well. You can let people know all day long. But at the same time, because it's a lot of people that can just sit up here and talk about, I'm going to do this, I'm going to invest in real estate, I'm going to do all that. And as time go on, they don't amount to do any of those things that they said because they'll just try to say these things just to make themselves look. They just want to feel some type of acceptance. So if in case they'll make up anything and feel like as though doing something when you're not, but you're just trying to get people eyeballs on you so it can make you feel like you actually did something with them 15 years of your life after high school when you really didn't. You were too busy partying and going out and going to your sneaker link house. Your pockets, your finances, and your living situation shows it all. So you can't blame nobody but yourself. And there's no need for you to try to have these stigmatization on how the world don't want me to be up, or you only go as far as you allow yourself to go. If you sit up here and tell yourself this on a day-to-day basis, the world is putting so much gravity on your back that you can't get up out of bed in the morning and actually go work a job and go grind and save up this money to furnish your dream. What's the point of you even having? You don't really want it as bad as you say you do. But that's all what I'm saying, people. It's all about solidifying your position, then go after what you feel like your purpose is. You have to set aside money for emergency in case if things don't pan out how you want them to. Everything is not going to be just a golden ticket store to where once you start doing something, you immediately jump right into it. It doesn't work like that. With life, you have adversities. You have stuff that might get in your way. And even though you might have stuff that's blocking you from getting it, it may take you a while to even get started or even to start even generating some real income. But at the same time, you were so on the rush to leave your job, you have no money saved up. You have no collateral. You have none of that. Everything that you pretty much, and also you probably now have to even just start selling your own personal belongings in order just to even keep the lights on in your house. See, and that's another thing too. You can't just leave when you want to. And what I'm just saying, I'm just speaking of a perspective when you being by yourself. If you got a family, you definitely can't afford to leave. Especially leave your job open-ended like that and you have no residual or no income. Are you saying you got that little bit of taste of income coming in and you think they're going to hold over your bills? You don't make enough money. Let's just give out a number. You had $20,000 sitting in your account right now, you'll be able to quit and go start up your enterprise. A lot of people don't even have $20,000 saved up. But how do you think you're supposed to make it with no money and you just furnishing a dream? Because there was an interview that I recently watched or whatever. He was saying as though His girlfriend really wasn't supporting his dreams and stuff like that. She didn't really see no monetarily benefit for it because guess what? It wasn't paying the bill. You subconsciously, you negating your responsibilities. You just hoping something will come out of it and it's not. But later on, he did end up becoming successful. But at that time, he wasn't. Don't get so blinded by your dream that you lose sight of your reality and your logic. You gotta make sense because it's your life at the end of the day. Regardless of whether you can grow from it or not, and I understand these people, but you can't lose sense of it. If it's not bringing you in no money right now, it will be that hobby until it is. Find ways to monetize. Whether you have to post on YouTube or do different tasks to be able to monetize your program or whatever that you offer. You have to build it. It comes over time, but you don't have overnight success with it. As I just said, the instances that can come up when you don't have money, say for instance, your car can break down. Something in your house can break as well. You never know. Your come up story is not going to be as glorious as you think it is. You're not going to have a rapper come up story. You have to be more logical about how you approach your life, how you approach your goals, how you approach your career. You hurting yourself trying to run to something that's not there. As you continue to form this cloud around yourself as though I'm going to do my dream and it's just going to work out. No, it's not going to work out. You don't even know if it's going to work out. And that's another thing too. I even want to add, not to even get too much off topic, but with content creation, with people that want to do podcasting, YouTube, social media is very prominent right now, which is probably only going to get greater as we get older. But at the same time, if they were to counsel social media and stuff right now, a lot of people will be at a detriment. And most people might find this, oh, that's a terrible way to live. You have to live as that income may not be there tomorrow. Something can easily happen. They can just shut everything down. And guess what? People can't post no more. And then your money is cut off. So how have you been applying your money and putting it to situations to where it can work for you? Have you been investing? Have you had your money saved into a high yield savings account? Where are you putting your money over time that you are making that can at least put you in a better situation just in case that we have another pandemic, just in case that we have something disastrous happen? I'm not wishing it on this, but we just throwing hypotheticals out here. Are you currently financially situated to deal with it? I feel like a lot of people just have that, I'm just gonna go with the flow, stuff gonna work out. And it's going to keep you at a 9 to 5 for the rest of your life. You're going to always get the bottom of the barrel of everything because you're just going about life and not planning. Financial freedom is not falling into your lap. And working for yourself, as I said, would be disastrous if you go into it without a proper education on how self-employment works. Books that I recommend for you to read, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. It's a book about it was a child. He had a rich parent and he had a poor parent, which he had a poor dad, which is the poor dad was basically as the working class, the middle class, the one who was going to work every morning, the 9 to 5 work. While he had the rich dad, which was the millionaire who had assets, stakes in companies and stuff as such as those he had, but he just had money into different spaces. So he had more things generating money for him more than the dad did. The poor dad had more money taken from him. But the rich dad, he had liability too, but it wasn't that much as him because at the same time, he put his money into places to where he was able to get a full return back. And he maneuvered in ways to where even if something did happen, he still had something that he can cling on to and hold to himself. Something did happen, he still had something. I can go pull this from here. I can go get 10,000 if I need this or fix on this or whatever like that. And also taxes for small businesses quick start. And this book is basically giving you the rundown on how the taxes that you'll have to file, what you'll have to look for, what's being reported, and all of it, which is basically like your income, your write-offs. The more write-offs, the better. There's a reason why the rich don't pay tax. No, it's not because of tax evasion. As an entrepreneur, you gotta have ways and strategies on how you plan on to maneuver yourself to not pay so much money at the end of the year. If you're making a lot of money, try to see can you get as many tax deductions as you can. Taxes you write off, the more money gets deducted from how much you gotta pay next year. And it's extremely high because you can even get a deduction from working. If you're working at home, if you're working in your apartment or your room or whatever, you get a write-off for that. You get a write-off for, say, for instance, if you buying your employees food, that's a write-off. They need computers, calculators, folders, write-off. Anything that's furnishing basically the elevation of a business, or you're putting supplies in a business, all of that are write-offs. You have to take heed and understanding the meaning of what it is to own the business first before you just start putting yourself into these situations, because it's not a joke. Because there's a lot of people who went into these fields unlegally and they don't last long at all. They didn't operate their business right. And you have some that people that's out there that named that haven't been, but you have to advertise. You have to show people why they need your service. Show people why they need your item out of the store. What value are you bringing to the people? You can only go as far as you push yourself, as you push your invention, as you push whatever that you're trying to do with your life. It's not rocket science, but you have to be willing to learn. It's not going to be easy either. A lot of people feel it as though I can just look at somebody else, or this person, if they feel like this person is more inadequate than them. Far as in when I say inadequate, I mean if they feel like they're more smarter than this person. They feel like though they was smart enough to own the business, I can too. A person that probably wasn't academically smart in the past doesn't mean their mind hasn't grew to the point to where they can furnish their own ideas now. And you never know what situation they may have to take people to change. But that's another thing too, people. Stop looking at other people thinking that you're going to find your answer. Your answer is within yourself. Stop being lazy and actually get up and do something. It's not on Instagram. Your answer is not on Facebook. It's not about looking at other people. The answer is with you. That's all you have to do. If we as people can tell ourselves to stop, and we as people can stop absorbing so much of false information and information that we don't need, and a way better person overall. If you want this entrepreneurship thing to work, you have to take it as seriously as you take waking up and getting up for your job. Because this foundation can last you for a lifetime if you do it in the right ways. But if you don't, it's going to wither down and turn into nothing. It's going to be a measly dream that you once had, but you failed. And the reason why you failed, because you didn't give yourself time enough. A lot of time, people, you have to stop living life like you're on a deadline. It takes time, it takes patience to grow, to develop. You're not going to be financially literate in a couple of weeks. It takes time for you to learn this game. If you want to get into this entrepreneurship, you need to read the book. You need to do the groundwork first. Get the blueprint, write out how you're going to do everything. From then on, work on furnishing your ideas. See how much money that you need to save up to accomplish this task. Still be working your job. The money that's coming in from your idea or your business or whatnot, it can take the place of your 9-to-5 job. Therefore, you can leave it. You can leave it. It's just that simple. But at the same time, it's not going to be easy either, because you have to put in the groundwork to get it up and running. And a lot of times, you have more falls than you do gains. But the gain can be so big. It's all about how bad you want them. And that's what people don't understand or misconstrue with themselves, because they feel like as though you'll get frustrated. You'll go through the emotions, but can you withstand that enough to even have that business keep going when you feeling all these emotions? Who do you have in there with you? Who's putting you into a position to where you can grow? If your friends are not encouraging you to be better, they basically want you to just sit in the car and ride with them all around all day, and y'all have no sense of purpose, or even it's literally no point for y'all to even be together. But my people that's in college lie wasting away All they doing is going into parties and literally just skipping class or doing whatever, not even taking what they is seriously, paying literally $40,000 a year just to even go to college, just to not graduate or fall behind or graduate and not do nothing, and you move back in with your parents. And I'm not saying nothing wrong with it, but at the same time, you had the time and opportunity to go and accomplish what you need to do. Stop making excuses for yourself and stop blaming your job. It's you. As I keep iterating, I know I keep saying this a lot, you only go as far as you want yourself to go. The stuff that you dabble into now, in my 20s, I'd rather work my whole 20s so I can be set in my 30s. A lot of people don't start until they 30 and still be trying to play catch up for the last 10 years that they missed. And you running after your past self, but at the same time, your legs starting to mess up, your knees starting to pop. You don't have that same drive that you once did when you were going out and doing everything else. Your priorities are in the wrong space, people. For the people that's in college, and for my older people that's in the workforce right now, whether you got kids or not, you need to start building the foundation to set up for them if you ain't already. Talking about you need a break and stuff like that, ain't nothing wrong with doing it, but you need a break every weekend, and you wonder why you still have to put on that uniform in the morning and get up and go to work. You have to change, people. You have to make sacrifices. This ain't how life works. You know you aren't supposed to be doing some of this stuff that you're doing. Your bank account and all the money that you spend are not matching. You don't even make as much as you spend. Think about it. We as people spend 3 times as much as we make. That's why the national credit card debt is over $1 billion. And if you really think about it, the U.S. is known for spending money and being in debt. Think about how sad it is. But at the same time, they promote consumerism with everything. Inflation is sparked up again. So it's just like at the same time, people, you gotta understand, you can't just get into something like that and think your life will be complete or everything will be okay. You got a bigger responsibility that you're getting yourself into. So make sure when you're thinking about an idea and you want to furnish it into a business and make it into a foundation or build your enterprise or whatnot, understand that that's what you want for yourself. Not looking at nobody else saying, oh, they got business and they got money too. Half of that money ain't even theirs. That money goes to really Uncle Sam. Uncle Sam give you that knock on the door. He collecting every year. And guess what? Go back to what I said, what you ain't written off. He ain't gonna be asking about what you written off. I'm asking you now. What have you written off? What have you deducted? What money you been putting back and saving into an account? And if you do want to know how to save taxes, different people who have businesses and stuff are saying the best way to save money for taxes is to put the money inside a high yield savings account. So over time, that money can continue growing over the amount that you need. So at the same time, you can take all that money out to pay for taxes. Well, take the original amount what you need to pay for taxes out, and then still have money left over too. Smart idea. But you have to be disciplined. If you're bad with money, you definitely don't need to be doing entrepreneurship. Because if the more money that come in with your business, you're going to spend it. You don't want to be like Wesley Snipes. Owes years in taxes. That's something you never play with IRS. Because IRS will always have the last laugh. And that'll be all for this episode, people. And I appreciate y'all for listening and tuning in today. Make sure you follow us on Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and Amazon Music to get our notifications to let you know when we're posting. And make sure you download the episode because that really helps me out to get the content to the people. And until next episode.